One of our favorite secret weapons for problem solving and negotiating is local real estate attorney Brian Lytle. In this series of Get Smart, Brian shares insights on property description.
Hi, I'm attorney Brian Lytle. I'm the company attorney for Liz Moore & Associates. And in today's Get Smart segment, we're going to talk about the property description. And before we get to those details, again, this is not specific legal advice. It's a broad overview. And the three contracts that the Liz Moore agents use are slightly different. The RAIN contract is used predominantly on the Virginia Peninsula. CVR is used in the Richmond area. And the Virginia Realtor contract, the VR contract, is used in the Williamsburg area and in other areas in the state. Each handles this a little bit differently, but the fundamental principles are the same. Those contracts are fairly drafted for both buyers and sellers, and in that way, your agent can use the same contract whether he or she is representing a buyer or a seller. So the purpose of this Get Smart segment is to drill down and focus a bit on the legal description, the property description. Other segments will address different and related issues. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask your Liz Moore agent. With that, having said that, you see on the screen a sample legal description paragraph. And so typically what's going to be inserted here is the agent's going to look this up on the municipal tax records, really, and you'll get what's known as a short legal description. It may say Lot 1, Kings Mill, Lot 5, Section 2, Ford's Colony, that sort of thing, noting, of course, the jurisdiction, Williamsburg, James City County, City of Richmond, that sort of thing. They will also add in the also known as section. You see that here. They'll have the common mailing address, whether it's 131 Oak Lane, Williamsburg, Virginia 23185, something to that effect. And quite often the agent will go ahead and list a tax map parcel number. Each of the municipalities has a version of a parcel identification number, and that will be listed. So the first thing I want you to do, whether you're a buyer or a seller, is make sure it's accurate. From a buyer standpoint, you want to make sure that the correct property that you think you are purchasing is shown there. And it doesn't hurt. I mean, people make mistakes, and it doesn't hurt to verify that and look it up yourself. And the same is also true for a seller. You want to make sure that the property is accurate. And this gets particularly ripe for a mistake where perhaps there are multiple lots. You want to make sure that all the lots that are being purchased are listed, and you want to make sure that no additional lots that are not being purchased are listed. Sometimes in the cities there are alleys that have been vacated by the municipality. This happens quite a bit in Richmond and Hampton and Newport News, and that's typically shown in the tax records, but you as a seller, you're going to know whether that's occurred, and so you need to make sure that's listed. There may be easements in particular that need to be listed here, and also where it's acreage, that is, it's not an easily definable lot. Then at that point I would suggest, whether it's directly to you or to the Liz Moore agent, that some verification of that occur. And typically we would do that by obtaining a copy of the deed where the seller took title. Also note here that one way a purchaser can protect his or her interest is to have a survey performed in order to verify that the property the seller thinks is being sold and the buyer thinks is being purchased is in fact accurate. Note that right after this paragraph, whether it's in a separate sheet or there are checks or there's boilerplate language, and again, each of the contracts handle it a little bit differently, any personal property that's being transferred with the sale needs to be listed in one form or fashion. The law regarding fixtures and personal property is a little bit complicated, but as a fundamental golden rule, list and exclude, and then there will be no mistakes. And we do have another Get Smart segment specifically addressing personal property, and I would commend that to you. So that's really all I have for today in this particular Get Smart segment. And the idea is just be descriptive as possible and verify what's being purchased and what's being sold. Have a great day, and I appreciate your time.
Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for our next installment of Get Smart with Brian Lytle.